Good morning. I'm going to show you guys how I typically set up for a landscape painting. We're going to start by blocking in some of your simple colors and simple shapes, and then we'll go in and refine more of them. So you're going to choose a reference either from the beginning landscapes folder or from the intermediate. I'm going to start with beginner and then I'll make a different video for intermediate. And you're going to open your chosen reference in Photoshop. So control right click, open with, Adobe Photoshop. I've popped mine out so I can see pretty easily side by side when I'm working with a new image. I want to make sure my canvas is the same size as my image, so I can see down here actually my image is 1260 by 665. So when I go in to make a new canvas, I need to put in those same numbers. So here's my new document window. I've got 1260 long by 665 wide. I want resolution of 72 pixels per inch. I want CMYK color, actually. The difference between CMYK and RGB, guys, is CMYK is color made for printing. RGB is based off of light. So that is the type of color mode you would use for web page design. CMYK is based off pigments in the printer ink. I'm going to hit create. And now I've got two of them. I'm going to pop this back in here. And now I can kind of start to map out what I'm going to do first. So I've got this very large chunk of blue. I've got a smaller chunk of green. I've got all these really dark little bushes. And then I've got my grass. So before I do anything else, because it makes my life easier, I'm going to add another layer. You can choose to just go whole hog on the background if you want, but I like to work with layers. And I'm going to switch my brush to a hard round. This is what I do for flats. You might find that you really like the soft round for your flats. It's up to you. And I'm going to start to block in some of these colors. The other thing I might do is over in the corner, if I want to keep color palette, I can. Actually, no, we're going to skip that. So I'm going to come in and sample with my eyedropper on my other screen and figure out which would be a good mid-tone to start. Not going to start with any of these shadows. That doesn't make sense. Just kind of eyeball it and see what's the main color I see here. I'm going to go with probably something over here. So I've got my green, and I can just kind of sketch in, make this smaller, and zoom out, command minus to zoom out. And come in with my brush, make sure I'm on the right layer. And it's not a straight line, it just kind of dips like so. So I'm going to draw that in. Goes across. I want to make sure that I'm eyeballing about how big it should be. And just goes across, kind of dips, and kind of comes back up. Gonna pump up the size now and fill in. A little bit more rounded over here. A little more of a gradual change. Close enough. All right, I'm gonna block in my blue next. Actually, for the ease of my own sake, I'm gonna do that on another layer. So Command Shift and the letter N for new. And there's several different colors going on here, but again, I'm going for the mid-tone because I'm gonna go back in and blend those later. Come back over here. And since I'm doing this after the grass, it makes it a lot easier to just shade it in. Cool. I'm gonna go back to my grass layer and work on this bit now. I'm going to make my brush smaller. And I'm going to change the orientation of my brush. I'm going to squeeze it a little bit so it's a little bit more narrow. I'm going to come in and sample that. And once again, I can hide these windows if I need to. Take a look directly at what's going on in the other picture. So it kind of tapers up to a very thin line over here. So thin, in fact, I'm going to make my brush even smaller. And I'm just going to kind of sketch. I want to see how far over that goes. That goes just about over half of my image. So it's probably going to start closer to here. And then it gets wider as it goes across. It's a little more straight than what I drew in. Go across like so. And then I can come in and grab this lighter bit later. But for now, I'm just going to come in and block that in. Now, my mouse is moving really slow because I had the smoothing turned up. There we go. Nice and easy. Just blocking those colors in. And you can hear the lovely ambiance from the wood shop. Round this out just a touch. Something like that. Seems a little too thick. Come in and shave it down with my eraser. Close enough. All right, so I've got my main colors blocked.